Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Claw and the King podcast. I am currently joined by my co-host, Oscar Sims. How are you, my friend?
I'm great. As you can see, we're joined by a third member today, the leader of the free world.
Unfortunately.
Mr. Ted Lasso. Everybody, round of applause for Ted.
No, I'm not rounding applauding. American. So I'm good.
You know, we just needed a spiritual leader in this room. It felt a little bit empty, and Ted was the man for the job.
Well, me and Oscar, we went shopping recently. You know, as you do. We just random shopping trips.
Going shopping together.
Yeah, it was lovely. Lovely time. And we came across, you know what, would be good for a podcast, a bit of a poster in the background. So we had a look. I had a look at a Michael Jordan poster that I really liked. And then we stumbled across this bad boy that Oscar loves for some reason.
Yeah, it's just...
And I hate with a passion. So...
Everybody loves a bit of Ted, so...
No one likes him. If you're an Englishman, it just infuriates me.
That's why it's funny.
Yeah, but if you like football, though, it just is so bad. Because the quality of players is so bad. And it's laughable to watch it. And then, it's just... Oh, my God. Is the American coaching a Premier League team? I mean, could it get any worse? I mean, the Americans already coaching.
They're not in the Premier League.
Are they not?
They got demoted.
Because he was the manager.
I don't know.
So there you go. But still, it was just like, oh my God. And I kind of actually liked the, the YouTube video where it originated from, where they did.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, that was funny in a short format, just as like a joke, as a bit of a meme. But when you take it seriously with a TV show, I mean, I get it gets rave reviews all the time, but the people that review it don't watch football. So
it wins heaps of awards. So
from Americans, though.
Yeah, but that's for a television show. Most people aren't watching it for the soccer quality.
Yeah, football quality. But yeah, you should be, though.
Should you? You should just be watching it for entertainment value.
Yeah, but it just gets stuck in my head, though. It's not. It just annoys me and bugs me. It's like a lightsaber duel. Watching like the old movies with the lightsaber duels, and it's like, ugh, this Obi-Wan Darth Vader thing doesn't really. Even though it's iconic, it's still a bit like, geez, that's slow. Jeez,
that's slow.
Jeez, that's a bit weird.
You know, they just move the stick a bit quicker. Like,
yeah, well, it's a lightsaber. Thank you very much. Don't ruin.
Yeah, but they were obviously acting with a stick.
Yeah, well, that's the point. But it's the same thing here. It's just ridiculous to watch this guy. Hello, guys. Welcome to Ted Lasso. And it's like, oh God, could it get any worse?
God, it's just.
I've got to watch Man United, and then I've got to watch this. Anyway, we bought it just for a meme. You know, it's a cool face. I like the face. I mean, he's got a good mo on him.
The mo is iconic.
He's stereotyping my country and my culture, which I don't like, with the sipping of the tea. But still, you know, it's a standout piece. You know,
standout piece.
This wall.
Now, if you want, we could just sign this big blue space right here, and we could auction it off for. We'll start at 10K, but
10K.
We'd be willing to let it go.
Yeah, I mean, the Claw and the King podcast is soaring up recently, so. If you want to get your hands on it.
Before we go any further, everyone that's watching this, hit subscribe. And that's the end of that message.
Okay. Moving on. F1. Pretty interesting race. Obviously, Charles Leclerc predictably fails again. I don't know what on earth that geezer was thinking, or more importantly, what the Ferrari race directors were thinking. It was just ridiculous. Again, Ferrari fail. It is borderline laughable at this point. Because I'm not a Ferrari fan. Are you a Ferrari fan?
No.
So, I mean, there's a lot of Ferrari fans, so I'm sure it isn't laughable for them. But for us, it's a bit funny to see these Italians just fuck it up every single race. And also Danny Rick. I put some notes in. It's a bit expletive, I would say. And it rhymes a bit. I thought it was quite a funny joke. But Danny Rick fails again, even though it's probably put it down to... He had a really sick move. Well, he had a double overtake. That was like, oh my God, this guy.
I mean, it wasn't really anything.
It's old Danny Rick back, but turns out he finished 15th again, mainly because of the hard tyres. The hard tyres failed everyone. And then Ferrari decided, you know what, it's a good idea. Let's put Charles on those hard tyres, baby. Let's put him on. It's worked for everyone else. Even a Haas with a Ferrari engine put on hard tyres before. Completely fell out the race. So it's quite an interesting one for Danny Rick, because obviously what's happened in F1 this week, but we'll move on to that in a bit. Then Mercedes, George Russell got, was it P1? well, not P1, but he qualified Q1. And it was a really, really good race for them. 2 podiums again. And they're kind of sneaky contenders at this point because Ferrari are just...
They're not contenders.
For the constructors.
They're sneaky, maybe second.
I think they can win the constructors. The way it's going...
I'll give you $1 million if they win.
You don't have $1 million. But I think that the Mercedes is just looking really, really solid at the moment, and Perez isn't looking that good, in my opinion. He's not getting anywhere near
But they wouldn't even have... They probably wouldn't even have... They may have had 2 or 3 more points than Red Bull for that race, and that was a great race for Mercedes. And because Verstappen finished first, which is, 7 more points than second, and Perez finished...
Well, it's a fair shout, but a lot of people were talking about it. Maybe they could sneak into it if they could win a couple races and Verstappen would fail.
They would have to win every race.
Well, the car's looking better and better each week, so I wouldn't be completely surprised. Also, we didn't mention... Because it's a Premier League, I know it's a bit off F1 at the moment.
We'll get to it when we're talking.
I know, but we're briefly, just to talk about our outfits right now. Because it's a Premier League preview. It's 1 week prior to the Premier League. We thought we'd represent our team, our club. We'll move into Man United review in a bit, but just thought we'd let you know. I'd probably like that kid a bit more, but...
I mean, anyone would like this kid more.
Really?
This is easily the best kid
for the Spotify listeners. It's the away kit from last kit.
It's the away kit from last year, yeah.
I do like it. I like the away kit. On that shopping trip, we were going... we went past a Rebel Sport and I saw the away kit for Man United and I was really tempted to get it. But I'm also really stingy with my money. So I was like, you know what? This ain't going to do. But I do think this year's away kit is probably the best kit I've seen in a long time. In my opinion.
Better than this kit?
Yeah.
No way.
Well, that's kind of a throwback. But I don't love the collar. I don't like that white collar.
The white?
No, the collar. Just the shape.
Collar?
Yeah, the shape of the collar. I don't like that sort of just basic bitch sort of collar.
I prefer it to like a V-neck, like that.
No, I don't mind the V-neck.
But that's like for chicks.
God. It's
I
really...
prefer a circle collar, yeah.
Well, for me, I love the away kit. Oscar is not a fan of this year's home kit, which is just... Anyway, but off that was a bit off topic, just to... represent for Man United, even though we're going to finish 6th because we suck and we still got mixed sauce in midfield. Anyway, F1, it was kind of a race that Mercedes wished they had, probably the 3rd race of the year. And if they were a bit earlier with these upgrades and were more of a contender during the early part of the year, I do think they could actually contend. However, because Max Verstappen is running away with the championship and Perez isn't completely failing, there is a pretty sizable gap that I don't think Ferrari can sort of match. Even though Ferrari do have race-winning pace, they don't have race-winning logistics. So that was my sort of review from the race, and in essence, the hard tyres just completely failed. There was going to be, I thought there was going to be rain. There was predicted rain. If the rain happened maybe a couple laps before, it could have been absolute madness at the end. And it was sort of talked about throughout the race, but it only happened at the last lap. And Max Verstappen, I think, got a bit lucky in that from that sort of standpoint. But it is what it is, and we move on. So, what was do you have similar thoughts about the race?
Yeah, well, it's unbelievable at this point how Ferrari is so delusional to where they think they don't have an issue. They just need to fire everyone. I don't know how Benotti his job isn't under pressure. I don't understand.
Because he's Italian, man. It's like the mafia. They just keep their fucking jobs.
He's not... That dude is the furthest thing from the mafia I've ever seen in my life. But it's like if Toto Wolff or Christian Horner were doing these sorts of things or in charge of a team that was performing like this, they would be gone, or they would be firing the people below them, because the amount of strategy week after week after week, they're losing races that they should be winning. Like Leclerc had it in the bag again. They pitted him early for no reason when he said, the mediums are good for me right now. And they put him on a hard, which fucked him up. And then he had to do another pit stop again to go back onto the soft. And they messed it up as well at the start, being the only team that started on the medium. And then in their first pit stop, they put on another set of mediums. So they were forced to put on a different compound for the final stint. And they panicked and went for the hard because they didn't want to risk not getting to the end on the soft. So it's just really, really, really dumb strategy that everybody like if you just watch the race, if you've watched 5 races, you can tell Ferrari how to do better strategy than what they do. So it is comical. And when you see Lewis and Max and George in the podium room before they go on there, they're all talking. And they're literally laughing to each other at how dumb Ferrari are for going on the hards. And then someone asked Christian Horner in an interview, basically, something along the lines of, do you think Ferrari are handing you the championship because of their strategy? And his response was, are we live? So...
Well, yeah, Max Verstappen was asked a question about Mercedes doing better, and he said, well, yeah, I want them to do better because that means they take more points off Ferrari. It's better for me. They're nowhere near me in terms of race winning pace.
It's coming up to, I don't know, half a decade, a full decade of Ferrari just throwing away competitive years because of their incompetence.
Well, I mean, they got Sebastian Vettel at his peak. I mean, this is a Sebastian Vettel that won multiple times in a row at Red Bull. And then...
Well, yeah, he did just get destroyed by Daniel in his last year at Red Bull, but he was still good.
Yeah.
And yeah, a couple of those years they were contenders at the start of the year. Various things happened, and by the back end they were nowhere near Mercedes. So, I really just don't understand like how a team this rich have this many resources, have the best drivers in the world, and it's just simple things they can't get right. But I don't know. I guess this will just keep happening for the rest of existence until they get Benotti to leave.
But it's weird because I don't think Carlos Sainz has been ever screwed over, really. Is it just
I think he has.
But it seems so dominant in terms of screw-ups towards Leclerc. Like, it seems like
Leclerc's usually the one ahead.
Yeah, but why is he the one getting shafted? Is there an undercover Monegasquian, or what's a Monacan resident called? Monegasquian? Yeah, Monegasque. Is it like a bias towards people from Monaco? I don't know. Is there an Italian hatred of Monaco? I don't know. There must be something there because it seems very, very singular in terms of who gets all the shit happen to them, essentially.
I mean, Carlos does as well, but he's just not leading as much, so you don't notice it. But
yeah. Well, Leclerc, if he didn't have either the car problems or the Benotti problems, he would have, I think, been winning this title race easily.
Yeah, well, he should be. Like Max started from 10th, so this was their chance, and he's won the race easily by about 10 seconds in the end. And he didn't do anything spectacular. He's just...
I mean, no, Max is failed twice. I mean, he spun around in the...
he spun, and he still won by 10 seconds. Like, Max is just a metronome this year. Like, he's just consistently going, and everyone is capitulating around him.
Well, I do think their strategy changed. I think at the start of the year, he did have a couple DNFs, and they essentially must have had a meeting and said, look, if you're just solid and don't race at your full pelt and don't sort of take all these risks that you usually take, you're guaranteed to win most races because Ferrari will fail and Ferrari will continue to screw up. And you just got to rely on the other team screwing up, and then you just waltz home in first. So, yeah, you did predict it. And I've said this multiple times. You did predict that this season would be a lot worse and a lot less competitive than last year, and it's kind of proving to be. Even though at the start I thought Leclerc, even though it wouldn't be Hamilton and Verstappen, I thought Leclerc and Verstappen would definitely be a competitive sort of duo or a competitive rivalry.
Yeah, and I mean, and with the Danny thing, I didn't think he had a bad race. I've seen him have a lot worse races this year.
But the standards are on the floor, aren't they?
But he was, after the first pit stop, he was a clear P8. He was behind Lando, a long way behind Lando, but behind Lando. Because the two Alpines did a one stop, that's what's messed him up. And they managed to make the hard tyre work. And then obviously McLaren put him onto the hard tyre, which again, really dumb decision. If he just went another 5 laps, put him on the soft, he probably would have finished in the points. So I don't really blame him for that. I don't think he had a terrible race. Doesn't obviously the finishing position doesn't look great, but it is what it is. Not much can be done. Hopefully, well, I guess with the news of Piastri coming out.
Well, yeah, we'll delve into that a bit. I mean, what is your take on the sham? So I'll just review it a bit because for some reason, I got this news quickly. So I was like, oh, I'm in the F1 news. Oh, I know stuff about F1. What the? So originally, Alpine tweeted at 2:00 in the morning Australian time, and obviously Oscar Piastri is Australian, so
he's probably not in Australia.
No, but he said that he woken up to the news, so I'm assuming that he was. So he obviously 2:00 Australian time. Alpine released this tweet that Oscar Piastri would be promoted after Alonso left and went to Aston Martin, and Piastri would be promoted. And F1 tweeted it as well and said yes, Piastri was going to be promoted to the Alpine senior team. And you're like, okay, that's everyone assumed that anyway, but it's finally happened.
Well, they would have just said that because.
And then Piastri tweeted that he just seen the news and woken up to see that he's been promoted to the Alpine senior team, and in fact, he's never negotiated with them whatsoever, and he doesn't want the job, essentially. He's allegedly going to McLaren, and he's negotiating with McLaren, but it was really took even like general sports fans, not even F1 fans, noticed it, and it's going across all sort of sports at the moment. There's a couple sports players making memes out of it. Obviously, Albon extended, and he took the piss out of it for a bit. But yeah, it was just a shocking thing because you never see this, especially in F1 when 20 seats are those 20 seats are so coveted and so desired by race drivers, and especially Alpine, who's a solid midfield team. You see a young guy that's never raced in F1 rejecting that outright on Twitter before he even has a confirmed deal with another team. I mean, it's a bit shocking.
I think just a general rule of thumb.
I think Alpine just assumed that he would just take it. It was just like, well, he's going to accept it. Come on.
Yeah, just a general rule of thumb for professional sporting teams. Not recommended to announce signings until they've actually signed. Probably not the best idea to be doing that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's what sport journalists are for.
Yeah, that's what the media's for. It's not for the teams to be doing that sort of stuff. I don't know if that was maybe just a tactic to. Oh,
it was 100%. They wanted to
entice him, or maybe some retard in the social media department just saw it on the Canva profile and was like, "Oh, we signed Piastri."
No, I think
let's get that out.
I think it was an active sort of attempt from them to sort of. Mute the Alonso news. I think they wanted to sort of quickly announce his replacement because.
Wait, so Alonso went to Aston Martin?
Yeah.
They must have wanted to get.
Did you not know that?
No, I did, but I'm just processing it all. So Alpine must have wanted Alonso to leave then.
I doubt it.
There's no way Alonso would have chosen to go to Aston Martin.
Well, that's what's being speculated.
I think Alpine would have wanted him out.
Well, the memes. I don't know, like quoting memes a lot, but the sort of the memes around Twitter and the sort of talk around Twitter is why on earth would he want to leave? And that's what apparently he's done. That's what he said he's done. He's left to go to Aston Martin.
Yeah,
now,
I think behind the scenes.
I do think behind the scenes, obviously Piastri's been. I think he's won F2 before, and he's also one of the most highly talented sort of young drivers in F2. So, and he's been sort of on the verge and arguably should have been promoted prior to next season or this season. So, you could definitely tell it was in the works for Alpine. And I think with, Alonso getting on in age, I do think they felt, I think this is the time to sort of change drivers. Now, I don't know if I'd change Alonso in that scenario. I'd probably change Ocon if you believe.
No, I think you have to.
Even though Ocon's probably performed better.
Alonso, what is he, 42?
I know, but if you're mentoring a young driver, do you want Ocon there or do you want Alonso there?
But I think you want two younger drivers.
Yeah, well, it's a strategy that a lot of teams are going for.
At the stage now where he's experienced enough. It's not like he's a rookie.
Yeah.
And I don't think you want to be investing into a 42-year-old.
Well,
I mean, he's still a good driver, but it's just risky when you get to that sort of age.
Yeah, well, it was a very surprising thing that happened. And this is the silly season, the quote silly season that is going to be taking place over the winter break in the F1 season. So I'm excited for it. I like when driver transfers happen. It's a bit interesting. It throws a bit of a spanner into the works, and hopefully, it sort of spells Danny Rick's departure, doesn't it?
Hopefully not.
No, Danny Rick. You can say Lando. You can fuck off, mate. Lando, get out of here.
Well, he hasn't been announced as a McLaren driver for next year.
He ain't turning down Alpine to go to Haas, is he?
No, but I think he's just signed to McLaren, not to drive F1.
You think he's staying in F2? You think he's like, F1 seat seems really nice?
I think McLaren might say, listen, Daniel's under contract for next year. After that, the seat's yours.
No, there's no way. There's no way he's turning down an F1 job next year to be an F2.
Maybe he wants...
and it's not like...
Maybe he likes McLaren.
But it's not... I get it if it's Mercedes or Ferrari, but it ain't either of them. It's McLaren and Alpine. And Alpine, especially in recent weeks, has outperformed.
Yeah, but who would you rather be at, McLaren or Alpine?
It's not... I don't think it's that big of a difference.
But apart from the on-track performance...
Yeah, but I would... Obviously, but probably McLaren, but it wouldn't be to the expense of not guaranteeing a seat.
Maybe Alpine didn't guarantee him a seat. Maybe
they tweeted that they guaranteed him a seat.
Maybe they just...
I think they did. I think it's pretty safe to say that they wanted him next year. So it's an embarrassment for Alpine. Where do they go? Obviously, the rumors are that Danny Ricciardo is going back to his old team and technically...
To Alpine. So Daniel's going back to Alpine.
Well, that's the rumors going around now.
I mean, he was good there, but...
I don't think he's going to be good there
honestly, I
anymore.
think that's a good move for him.
Well, it's the best move that he can get.
Or you can just fuck off Perez and get him back to Red Bull.
Do you think Red Bull are going to do that?
I think they would.
I think they're more likely...
The wounds have been healed.
I think they're more likely to get Latifi than they are Danny Rick.
Red Bull.
Yeah.
Just stop. That's not even... you can't even say that with a straight face.
Yeah, but I don't think there's any way in...
Christian Horner loves Daniel. He wanted him to stay, and he's always been fond of him. So
I'm sure he loves Sebastian Vettel. I'm sure he loves Mark Webber.
But he likes Daniel a lot. You know who he doesn't like? Pierre Gasly, Alex Albon. He doesn't like them. Well, you know why he likes Perez? Because Perez is a good little bitch who gets out of the way when they want Max through.
Well, is Danny Rick going to do that?
No. Danny Rick.
So he's a bad driver, and he's not going to get out of the way.
Danny Rick does do that. He lets Lando through every race. He basically does that. So
I think there's no chance in the world that Danny Rick.
No, I don't think there's a chance, but it'll be nice. It'll be nice.
It'd be it'd be nice because everyone loves Danny Rick, but
wouldn't it be nice? I didn't get the melody right in that.
It's all right. It's all right. We'll work on it.
That ad,
We'll work on it.
That ad where they sing.
Anyway, moving on from F1.
Well, actually, let's just do, as this is the season or mid-season, I guess, kind of like the All-Star break of F1. Let's just do a quick grading for each team. Give them a letter.
Haas, A+.
Wait, we'll start. Let me just get up the table. We'll start with the team in last place, so that's Haas.
They're not in Haas.
No, I'm joking.
They're not in Haas?
They're close. Williams in 10th place with 0 points. Wait, no, with 3 points, sorry.
I don't think it's an F for them, though.
F, I would give it an E. That's as high as I'm going.
Oh, it's a D- for me.
A D-?
They've, in comparison to the last couple of years, it's a lot more competitive. Getting Albon again for another year is also positive. Albon is clearly...
Yeah, Albon just hasn't got any other offers, though, if he's signing.
I'm surprised by that, though. I'm surprised even like an Alpine wouldn't be interested in Albon.
Maybe they would have been, but he's already signed now.
Yeah, so... But yeah, Latifi's the worst driver in the history of F1. So
yeah, he is quite bad.
He's awful.
He is definitely.
So
quite
and
bad.
they've still got him. So that's bad. I mean, if they don't drop him next year, I mean, what kind of crack are they smoking?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like, I get he brings in money, but there's a point where money doesn't matter.
No, but in F1, money really does matter because they can't keep the car on the track if they don't have money.
The guy just is so bad.
He is, but
inexcusable.
It doesn't matter right now because they're the worst car anyway.
Yeah.
So,
okay, D-.
E. Okay, Aston Martin are in 9th.
Yeah,
that's really disappointing. That's an F.
Yeah, that's an F for me as well.
They should have been around that 6th area.
When you've got Sebastian Vettel Even though you got Lance Stroll, you still got Sebastian Vettel. And Lance Stroll, look, he's not a great driver, but he has done decent before. Like
he's won a race?
No, he's gone on a podium before.
Yeah, okay.
He's obviously funded by his father, who owns the team essentially.
Yep.
But if you have Sebastian Vettel in your team and you're finishing 9th, you've got problems there.
Yeah, you do. You do. 8th, AlphaTauri, D. Last year they were more competitive than this.
I'd probably put it around the C- area. It's not shocking. It's not shocking. I don't think they've gotten any worse than last year. I just think a team like Haas has done better.
Okay.
So yeah, Haas and Alpine have done better. So
moving on to 7th place, Haas are in 7th.
It's got to be at least a B.
Yeah, I think it's a B.
Obviously,
they're still terrible, but they're better. They
were the worst team in the grid by. They were worse than Williams last year, and that's how bad they were. They had Mazepin and Schumacher. It was looking like it was going no place, nowhere, no how. Then Magnussen comes in, and they're all of a sudden competitive on the grid. They're finishing not last race or the race before, but they had a couple races in a row where they both finished in top 10. Schumacher's got his first top 10, obviously. Magnus has probably been the more consistent driver, I'd say, over the F1 season, but still a really, really solid season from him.
Yeah. So, yeah, good season for Haas. 6th place, Alfa Romeo. Now, that's probably a B+ for me. I didn't expect him to be in 6th. Bottas has been pretty good. Guan Yu Zhou, he's been up and down, but it's his first year, so that's what you expect. But, yeah, I think that's a good result for Alfa Romeo.
Yep, I think Guan Yu Zhou has probably been the most unlucky driver on the grid this year. He's been so unlucky with either the car failing. So that's why I probably put them a B- because the car has failed their drivers. But Bottas, especially early in the year, he was a lot better than he is now. He's fallen off a bit, but he's still quality, and he's really getting the best out of that car. So Guan Yu Zhou also, he's been close to points and around points recently, ever since his car stopped not falling apart. So it's a positive season for them. They're hanging around that 6th position, so that's good.
5th place, McLaren.
Shocking.
Probably C-.
Yeah, C- for me. Lando's done a lot better recently. Quality's gone a couple of Q4s, and I don't know what is the lettering for that. I always don't understand that, because P4 is when you finish 4th, right?
Yeah, but you still say that in qualifying.
So you say P4 in qualifying as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. So
but you just say he qualified 4th.
Okay. I'm new to this sport. Give me a break. So he's finished 4th in qualifying a couple times now, or 4th, 5th, 6th, around that area. He's dropped off a bit in the race. I think he's finished 7th twice, back to back, I want to say. But he's much improved, I think. But Danny Rick has just been an abomination, really. And the car hasn't really done that well. I don't think it's been that quick of a car.
They were probably predicted to be 3rd, if not 4th, quickest this year, and they're...
Especially with Mercedes. I mean, Mercedes really was shocking at the beginning of the year, and they never capitalized on it. So, I mean, they look like they're going to get Piastri next year, so... Yeah,
they're not getting Piastri.
Piastri's turning down Alpine for
No, McLaren they're not going to get rid of Daniel. They love him too much.
They're getting rid of him, mate. It's time to accept facts.
No. Okay. All right, 4th, Alpine. Pretty good. I'll give him an A-.
I'll give him an A.
I didn't expect them to be this good.
To finish 4th above McLaren, for Alpine is a much, much greater improvement than I could have expected. Ocon looked good. That's why I'm surprised Alonso's leaving Alpine. They finished 4th. They're in a they're the best midfield car. So, they've been solid all year, and Ocon sort of surprised a couple of people. I think a lot of people thought that he was on his way out. He wasn't. He was not a failed wonder kid, but he'd obviously won a race, and people thought he had these heights. But in reality, probably last year, people thought he was a bit mediocre, and destined for a mediocre career in F1. But he's shown that he can get the best out of the car, and the Alpine cars looked really quick this year, and it's a much improved car. So you got to give them an A for finishing 4th, because that's the best they could have done
Yeah, definitely. Third place, Mercedes. I'm going to be slightly controversial probably with this. I'm going to give them a D. I know you're thinking they've been promising they're on the up. They're actually doing really well right now. But to be in third for Mercedes is terrible for where they're usually at. So as a season for Mercedes goes, this is the worst one I've seen. So
well, they had to change a lot with the car. I will say that. And it's not entirely their fault. But there has been some definite up and downs. But to put it D, because you're taking into account not only the car, but the drivers and their performance as well. And I think how the drivers have performed is massively got the best out of the car. No, that doesn't make any sense, but they got the best out of the car this year, the drivers, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I think the car's been shit, so it's a D.
Well, I think it's a B- for me. It's not a good season for Mercedes, not where they're usually at, but they had to make a lot of changes to the car, which resulted in it being a lot slower. George Russell and Lewis Hamilton, they struggled early. But George Russell, I mean, even though he hasn't won a race, he's been in and around that podium all season, no matter what car he had. And Lewis Hamilton was sort of ridiculed at the start of the year for was he the right Mercedes driver to be let go? Should have they kept Bottas? It was a meme because no one actually believes it, but unless you're him. But it was kind of a conversation that George Russell was a better Mercedes driver at the beginning of the year. Now they've got it back-to-back double podium, so I think they're on the up, and they just had to, because of the regulations, they had to change the car, and it just went pear-shaped for them. But I do think next year they will be back.
Okay. All right, now second place, Ferrari, F. That's it, done.
You can't give them an F if they're coming second.
They should be in first, so F.
Where did they finish last year? Third?
Yeah.
They're second. So you can't...
Yeah, but you have to take into account what's happened this season. And but their performance has been horrific.
They've also developed the fastest car on the grid.
They have. And that it's pathetic that they're not winning with the fastest car on the grid.
It is pathetic, but also that guys like Leclerc and Sainz, I think, have performed well. So I'd put it at a C+, probably.
C+, okay. Yeah.
Just, look, in terms of driver performance and car level and car speed, car performance is a bit down because of durability, but still car speed and driver performance, you could put them at A+. But because how deluded and I don't want to say that word, but stupid their strategies are race to race. I mean, that's definitely an F-. So sort of somewhere in the middle, a C+ for me.
Okay. And finally, Red Bull obviously winning pretty easily. I'll just give them an A. Really solid.
A.
Haven't done anything crazy, but they haven't needed to. So they're just
it's a walk in the park for them. It really is. Their car's probably similar to what it was last year in terms of pace. It's not the fastest car on the grid, but it's second easily. And yeah, they just had no problems all year. It's been smooth sailing. Perez has fallen off recently, but started the year off really well. Verstappen, again, been really consistent, sort of shown a different side to his racing in the fact that he's been able to finish races and not being so erratic, you could say, with his performances. So, yeah, as much as I don't like Verstappen, he is the best driver on the grid at the moment. They've got the best car on the grid in terms of, and then they've probably got the best strategies on the grid. Christian Horner, as much as he's arrogant, probably the most arrogant guy on the grid, he is a great... Is he a race director? I get confused. Is he a race director?
I think that's what they're called.
Yeah. He's good at what he does.
Team principal, I think.
Yeah, team principal. He's a good team principal. He's good at what he does. So, yeah, props to the guy. But, yeah, look, it's a bit of a downer in terms of just looking back at this season so far, because I do miss that Toto Christian Horner rivalry.
Yeah, it was.
And
good
Michael Massey, you want a bit of Toto Michael Massey? Get Michael Massey in there. He'll stir some things up. He'll get.
Yeah. When does Drive to Survive come out? Has it already come out? It's already come out for that season. What am I talking about?
Yeah, it's already come out.
And it was like the worst season ever.
Yeah, so. It was like the best season in terms of F1 and the worst season in Drive to Survive. It doesn't make much sense, but it is what it is. But I just miss a bit of a Toto sort of voice call to race control.
Yeah, I don't think they're even allowed to talk to them anymore.
Really? God.
I don't know. I haven't heard many messages this year.
This is not right, Michael. This is so not right. All right, moving on.
Okay, moving on. obviously rocking the jerseys. Man United till I die, baby. Love the Reds.
How many games you watched last season? Just recap.
What, live?
Yeah.
I think I watched one Champions League game.
Solid. Solid, real solid.
Yeah.
Right.
Obviously,
die.
they weren't good enough to be worth watching, really. So
I thought you were right to you die.
Yeah, I am. Obviously, from a distance, though.
Okay.
Not viewing them.
Yeah, okay. You're very much like Arsenal fans in that way.
Yeah, so that's what you wanted to talk about? That was the first point?
It is a bit. So, there's a lot of famous Arsenal channels in terms of fan channels. You've got AFTV.
Everyone, what's all their memes are really good.
Yeah, it's a really funny channel if you're not an Arsenal fan.
He's got to go, blood.
But Arsenal fans in general, the reason why they're the banter club and Man United are not is because they're the most delusional fan base in the history of fan bases. They, for some reason, believe that this team that they've constructed, which has no world-class players in it, is still a solid team, and you've done well in the transfer market. They think this team is destined for greatness. And for the life of me, I can't figure it out.
Maybe it all just comes together for them. Maybe this team just meshes
look,
perfectly.
I don't comprehend. Like, they've performed well in pre-season, but after pre-season, they're calling Jesus the next, R9. It's a bit odd.
Isn't Saka meant to be a gun?
Well, that's the thing. Every one of their players is the best player of all time. They compare them to all these greats. And it's like, you haven't got a singular world-class player in your team. And Arteta, the backing of that guy, they back him to the cows come home.
After the first 3 games last year, they wanted to kill him.
Yeah, they back him to the cows come home. They think, oh my God, this guy, he's a saint. Back Arteta, blood. Arteta are in. And what has he finished? 8th and 5th. Wow, what a great manager he is. I mean, I don't think he's done bad. And I think his recruitment's decent, and I think you should stick with him for this season. But even last year, you're talking about last year, how great you guys played. You went 2 months separately, 2 separate months, you went without scoring a singular open play goal. 2 months out of a season. You didn't score a singular open play goal. I mean, is that guy the Messiah now? They just completely ignore these facts and just act like, oh, we're superior. Oh, we're finished 3rd easy, bro. 3rd easy. It's easy. Easy pickings, mate. 3rd easy.
That's weird how just all the teams are like, 3rd is we can't aim for 1st.
Yeah.
We can aim for 3rd.
Liverpool and City are just miles ahead. But I look, even though we've got a shocking midfield, say we do get Frankie de Jong. It's a big if, but say we do. I look at our team on paper. I look at Arsenal's team on paper. I look at our manager on paper. I look at your manager on paper.
Except everyone drastically underperforms who plays for United. So
yeah, but Arsenal players don't perform to the highest of their ability. They were rinsing Xhaka, and then he has a good 4 months for them, and he's the best CDM in the world.
He's been there forever, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's the best leader now, even though he sweared at the fans and ripped his armband off. He's a great leader. I mean, make it make sense. They're just so deluded, and it's not just a reason why we brought up AFTV. You hear these opinions on AFTV a lot, but it's not just them. You go and you talk to any Arsenal fan. I mean, I've got Arsenal fans that live here. They think the same delusion. I mean, Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko, okay, they're decent signings, but has Jesus ever led the line for a team? Man City he was the only striker on Man City's entire roster last year, and he didn't play. They didn't start him. He was the only striker they had, and they didn't start him. As soon as this transfer window came, they kicked him out the door and brought in 2 strikers.
I think you'd sack anyone off for Haaland at this point.
But they brought in Edson Alvarez. Oh, they brought him in January, but they still brought him in. A guy of Edson Alvarez, who's unproven Argentinian striker. I mean, what's that about? Apparently, they kicked Jesus out for him. Zinchenko as well. They act like, oh, he's a captain of Ukraine. There ain't many great Ukrainian players, though, is there?
Who plays for Ukraine again?
Who does play for Ukraine? Mikolenko, I think, the left back for Everton. I have no clue. Honestly, who plays for the Ukraine? They act like, oh, he's a Ukraine captain. He's a great leader. Who else are they going to pick for captain?
That's like saying Tim Cahill is the Australian captain.
Yeah, it's like we've also got
not Tim Cahill. Jedinak. Sorry.
Yeah. Tim Cahill actually had decent players, but Jedinak. Well, who else has he got in the team? He's got Robbie Cruz, Aaron Moy. He's got in that team. Who else?
Matty Ryan.
Yeah, he played for Brighton though. Matty Ryan played for Brighton. But yeah, they just hype up every single signing that they get, and they act like they can banter Man United when you finished 8th and 5th 3 years in a row. We finished second 2 years. I know we had a shock in last year, but the season before we finished second and we got to a European final.
Yeah, shut up, blood.
What? What are you doing? You act like you're the Billy Big Bollocks. I don't understand it. You're like, oh, look at this document. I can't wait for this. What, the All or Nothing documentary that's coming out.
Are they doing an Amazon thing?
Yeah, and I think the premiere just released yesterday or something, and they're like, oh, I can't wait for this documentary. Like, you had no other competitions. Every other team around you that you're competing with completely capitulated in one form or the other, and you still managed to not finish in the top 4. You sacked Arsene Wenger because you kept on finishing 4th. Now you can't even get to 4th, and you're acting like Arteta's in best next thing. I mean, I can't understand it. Guarantee, if he has a poor season, Arsenal, or if he has a poor start to the season, say he has 6 games and they played 6 games, 7 games, and they're in 10th. Guarantee Arteta out is going to be the main thing.
Yeah, obviously.
But 6 games prior to that, they'll be like, oh, yes, Arteta in, lad. Get in there, my son.
But it all depends on how they play. Like, if United...
Yeah, but they're flip-flops. They're just one side. But
that's every team.
I know.
Until you get a dominant manager like a Pep, then you stick with them.
Well, you have flip-flops in most fan bases, but Arsenal fans take it to another extreme. 1 week, they'll be saying he's the next Ferguson. The week after, they'll say get him out. You know, it's just ridiculous how much they flip-flop. It's just... I was just sick and tired of hearing, and it's just in this pre-season sort of talk. You watch a lot of YouTube channels, a lot of Arsenal fan channels, and they're talking about, oh, we're so excited for this season. Oh, have you seen how we dominated pre-season? I'm like, cool. You played well in pre-season, mate. But also in the past 3 seasons, you've had no success from a European standpoint, and you've finished 8th and 5th. Under Arteta. Last season, you didn't play any European and you got knocked out early in the other domestic cup competitions. So you essentially only had 1 game a week for the entire season, and you finished 5th. Man United sacked 2 managers last season. Chelsea literally had their owner arrested, essentially, exiled from the country, and they couldn't spend any money. They literally were bordering on, losing the football club. So that obviously had a massive impact behind the scenes. And Spurs had Nuno Espirito Santo in the job for 5 months. So, what you want? How do you not finish 4th? And how are you gassing your team up so much? I'm not saying that they won't finish in the top 4. I'm just saying that even if he does, it's just so unreal how before the season is even started that you're just gassing your team up to be the best thing since sliced bread, and I just can't really comprehend it, to be honest with you. So that's my little rant about Arsenal fans.
Okay. I'm sure they'll appreciate that.
Well, I'm sure they will, but I mean, what are you doing? It's ridiculous at this point how you're just you'd never see any other fans doing this. You don't see Chelsea fans. Chelsea won the Champions League 2 years ago. But,
yeah.
And do you see Chelsea fans saying, oh, yes, we're going to win the league? No? Do you see Chelsea fans gassing mate, top 4 easy. Top 4 easy. No, you don't see that, but they've still essentially got the same squad and the same manager that they won the Champions League with. It just doesn't make sense how they're just this high up on the... And it's good to support your team.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong.
Back the boys.
But it gets to a point where you're just trying to banter other teams, and it's just embarrassing because you have no legs to stand on, essentially. It's like, this guy has more knowledge about football than most Arsenal fans. I mean, let's be real. Thierry Henry is the sole reason that you have fan base that you do. I mean, you'd have half the fan base.
Everyone loves Thierry Henry.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You'd have half the fan base that you currently have if Thierry Henry never played for Arsenal. That's all I'm saying. You're a one-club man.
They got Van Persie.
You were good. You were
Fabregas.
You were a great team for about 4 years. And then what else have you done? You finished top 4 every year. You've never won a European trophy, but they think they're the biggest club in England. It doesn't make any sense.
They're not the biggest club, but
that's what they think. Club. But they've never won the European trophy. How can they be even close to Liverpool or Man United or Chelsea?
I don't know.
Even City at this point. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I don't know, but whatever.
Whatever, dog.
It's not my problem.
Yeah, but it should be, though.
Why?
Because we've got to banter Arsenal fans. We've got to get in their skin, under their skin.
But
this rivalry is the pinnacle of sport. It's the reason why we love sport so much.
United versus Arsenal is the pinnacle of sporting rivalries. In
terms of banter, yes.
Maybe if you're in England, but...
Okay. Well, I'm English, so I can do it. So anyway, moving on.
Apparently Dean Henderson's done something.
Okay, so what came out this morning, Australian time, was probably the weirdest interview I've ever seen from a player currently contracted at the club, by the way. He signed a 6-year deal a couple of years ago. So he's still at the club for a long, long time.
Why would you sign him that long term when you have De Gea?
Mate, we're run by the Glazers, mate. We do a lot of dumb shit. Okay, anyway. So essentially, this guy who on loan, just got a loan deal to Nottingham Forest, came out in an interview and said how upset he was. And he hasn't even spoken to the manager at Manchester United. He's upset at the board. He was just basically rinsing or attempting to rinse Man United. And it's like, for not being the first choice goalkeeper over De Gea. And it's like, what delusional world are you living in? And he's talking about, I was promised the number 1 jersey.
Yeah, clearly, if they're giving you a 6-year deal, they must have been saying that.
Yeah, well, they'll promise you the number 1 jersey, but how stupid are you? If David De Gea is in the team, surely you've got to know there's going to be competing to do. You don't just get it automatically. You don't.
Well, I mean, De Gea did have like an off year, and I think there was talk.
He was good. Well, he had the off season 2 years ago.
Yeah, and there was talk that he was going to be out.
Yeah, and then even if you're guaranteed the spot at that point, you still compete. And David De Gea has won multiple Player of the Years at Man United. At his prime, was the best goalkeeper in the world. So, and obviously he had a great year last year, in my opinion, even though his distribution wasn't that great. He still had a great year in terms of shot stopping. So he got picked in the team. And he's ranted and raving about how he should get picked more. And it's not like he transferred away or he left the club. It's just left the club or left on a free or whatever. He's still a Man United player. And he's ranting and just trying to go after Man United for no reason. And it's just absolutely bewildering to me. And you can clearly tell this guy was one of the leaks in the locker room last year. Yeah, it's like, yeah, brother, if you're doing an open interview rinsing Man United, surely you're one of those leaks.
You're the leak, mate.
But clearly, I think it was kind of insinuated anyway that him and Jesse. Did you hear it was a couple? It was a couple months ago now, but do you hear the Paul Scholes sort of outed Jesse Lingard accidentally because Paul Scholes just is a pundit in the UK, and he does.
Well, he's a player.
He's a former player, but he's now a pundit, and he was talking about the dressing room problems, and he accidentally quoted Jesse Lingard, and Jesse Lingard got in so much shit for it because
he accidentally. What did Jesse Lingard tell him in confidence? Or something?
He leaks stuff. He's one of the leakers.
So why is it bad for Scholes to accidentally out him? Surely Scholes
because he told him in confidence, obviously, but he's not obviously supposed to tell him. But Scholes was sort of revealing the information and accidentally said it was associated to Lingard. And Lingard got in a lot of trouble. Scholes had to apologise for basically getting rid of... Because people want to know. I mean, if you're a former Man United player, if you're a journalist, you want to have sources inside that locker room. So it's obviously there's a drive to get it for Paul Scholes. But Jesse Lingard clearly and Henderson were both leaks at Man United. And why Nottingham Forest are taking both of them now? I mean, that's up to them. I mean, Nottingham Forest is going to be like...
Oh, they'll be their 2 best players, so...
Well, yeah, I mean, Nottingham Forest has done a lot of business, but to be fair to them, but it was just the interview that I saw was just shocking how the guy just ranted and raved when really you weren't that good, buddy. It's not like you're some world beater. You were shocking in moments. You're a good distributor, but you're not a good shot stopper. You're nowhere near compared to De Gea.
Yeah, sit down, buddy. Sit down.
You got upset that De Gea got given the number 1 shirt when he's had the number 1 shirt for 7 years. Like, what you want from him? It's ridiculous. And the fact that the Glazers promised you something and you're upset they didn't keep it up, I mean, come on. And the Glazers promised that we'd win titles and we'd be competitive. I mean, you get in line for that fucking shit show. So, moving on.
Yeah, Dino.
Dino.
Poor form, mate. Poor form. Moving on. I guess that's it. Well, do you want to talk about anything else, EPL, or?
Well, I'll quickly talk about my fantasy. Quickly.
Wow, this is going to be...
So, my fantasy team, you can feel free to rate it in the comments, by the way.
Everyone's going to be hanging on to their breath.
I know.
Who you've picked in the fantasy team.
Look, I think it's a winner, personally. But again, I'm just a knowledgeable pundit.
Well, is Ronaldo in it?
No. Well, I mean, he's also wanting to leave, so I don't know if he's going to be there. So, I've gone Ramsdale. Now, you've got to understand, Premier League...
So, your first player is an Arsenal player.
Okay.
But you've just shit on them for 10 minutes.
But you've got to take into account that it's all based on price and how they're going to be viewed on sort of the points that they're going to collect.
But you're hoping Ramsdale
so it's based off clean
You're
sheets.
hoping Ramsdale plays very well.
No, I'm not hoping that he does.
Well, you are.
Well, no, it's just a fantasy team. I don't really care that much about it. But what I'm saying is that there's certain criteria, so goals. So it's basically based off stats on who gets the best stats.
I pick fantasy teams with my heart, all right?
That's not what you do.
I'm not picking no Arsenal players.
Anyway, but you, based on... you don't pick any Arsenal players, Liverpool players, or Man City players. You ain't going to win. I'll tell you that for nothing. But anyway, so I picked Ramsdale in goal. Botman, a new signing for Newcastle at centre-back.
Well, he'll be great.
So I've done a 3-4-3 is my formation. Alexander-Arnold in defence, who gets obviously a lot of assists and clean sheets. So that's just... And Reece James at Chelsea. And then moving into the midfield, Neto, Rashford, Salah and Son.
Rashford? What?
Okay, my theory behind Rashford is he's going to play a lot because we don't have a left winger. We have zero depth in the wide areas. He was cheap. I think it was like 6 mil or something, which is cheap. And he's going to play a lot. And he's going to get a lot of goals. He's going
to get a lot of goals.
He's going to get a decent amount of goals for his price. For his price, it's a good deal. I don't think it's that bad of a... And midfielders also get points for clean sheets. Now, we don't get many of those, but we got Lissandro Martinez, so hopefully that will attribute to it. I got Salah and Son, who were the best performers in FPL last year. And then my 3 attackers are Mitrovic from Fulham, who scored 43 goals in the championship, who was 6.5 mil, I think, which was good price. Darwin Núñez, who looks dodgy, but...
that's like me having Lukaku last year.
Yeah, but Darwin, he looks dodgy. However, he's also in Liverpool and he'll get 100 chances a game. So it's pretty impossible for him to... I mean, even you could walk into that team and score 10 goals. Mm-hmm. So Darwin there, and he was, I think, 9 mil, so it was cheap. Then Jesus, who was the most picked player.
Jesus, the guy you were just shitting on.
He's going to play every week. I'm picking players that play. I'm not...
Okay.
So, and Jesus was the most picked, actually, in the entire FPL. Because he was 8 mil, 71% of fantasy players, or fantasy... Yeah,
they all love Jesus. That's why.
Yeah, they just want that good omen. They want Jesus to be on their side.
Everybody loves Jesus.
A lot of Christians got into fantasy Premier League this year because of Jesus. Yeah.
Is it in the Bible, though?
Is Jesus in the Bible?
Is fantasy Premier League in the Bible?
I'm sure it's somewhere. I think it's in Matthew 3:16 or something like that. As God is my witness, fantasy Premier League shall showcase another Jesus, and he shall reign down on every competition. All right, moving on.
Nice.
Yeah, I've just memorized the Bible. I'm just that.
Thanks for that excerpt.
You're welcome.
That will be read in scripture class around the world.
Luke 3:12 actually states that Eric Ten Hag is the chosen one. So it's pretty good.
That one's less believable, but we'll go with it.
Well, it doesn't say Eric Ten Hag exactly. It says Jesus, and then in sort of brackets it says ETH. So
Etihad.
Maybe it could be Etihad actually. So maybe Etihad is a chosen ground. I don't know. But Eric Ten Hag is the chosen manager. Moving on.
Moving on. Deshawn Watson in the NFL. I know fuck all about the NFL.
Okay,
So,
we're not an NFL podcast. I actually quite like the NFL. He doesn't, but we want to talk about it because it's quite controversial in terms of the news. Now, obviously, if you know the Deshawn Watson situation, you know that he's been accused of sexually assaulting or essaying. Because you don't want to say it because you get blocked or whatever. I don't know. You don't want to say that word for some reason.
Okay.
I just hear a lot of people don't say it.
Which one? Sexual or assault?
I think it's both paired together.
Okay.
But anyway, essayed, we'll refer to it essayed. Essayed 25 women, allegedly. So
25.
yeah, it's probably a lot more than that, but
Well, allegedly.
Allegedly because he hasn't been sort of
Well, it could just be.
he hasn't been convicted.
It could just be a group of friends that have schemed.
No, but well, there's a bit dodgy parts of the case, but we're not getting into that. But obviously, there's been 25. He got out of the criminal thing, but there's been 25 civil cases, and I think 21 of them has been settled. And the NFL, well, not the NFL, but the NFL judiciary or whatever their judiciary is called, ruled that he should be suspended for 6 games. And it's quite controversial, and it's quite a lot of people are in uproar in the US about that because they believe it should be more because a player.
Sexually assaulting an entire school class of girls.
Well, no, he's apparently into massage therapists, so it's a very weird story. So he apparently, allegedly, goes to massage therapists and sort of wants extra things. And does it in a very controversial way.
You know, there's a place where you don't have to ask for that. They just do it.
I have a feeling he might have a bit of a predisposition towards trying to convince women to masseuses that don't do that to do it for him. I think he kind of likes that. So that's sort of the.
So he just does porn storylines in real life.
Essentially, that's what he's into, but he does it in a really bad way. And I think I don't think he figured it out that you can't do porn situations in real life. Like you can't go up to your teacher and say, "Ma'am, come suck my cock." So
maybe you can.
If
you're Deshaun Watson,
maybe if you can. But yeah, it's a really. I just wanted to bring it up because it's massive news in the world of sport, and I think he should be.
Well, if he's actually sexually assaulted 25 people, he should probably be in jail.
Well, that's the thing. The criminal case was dismissed, and although I'm very much you're innocent until you're proven guilty. When there's a lot of cases like that, it's a bit.
I mean, maybe at 20 we could think, okay, maybe they're lying, but 25, it's a little bit.
25 is pushing it.
Yeah.
I don't know how 25 people collectively could be lying and putting off this massive.
Well, yeah, because for example, in the NRL, there's been a lot of situations where things have been alleged and the players just they can't play until the cases are settled, which has been seasons they've missed. And sometimes it's true, but sometimes it turns out that the chick's just chatting shit. So, you know, I do believe in innocent until proven guilty as well, because you see a lot of guys' lives and girls' lives change drastically just because someone said something. But I guess if it's 25 people, it doesn't look good.
Well, yeah, he's practicing, he's signing autographs, and it's a bit weird. It's a bit eerie of a feeling. And the Browns gave him this massive contract, $230 million guaranteed. This contract.
Is he a quarterback?
Yeah, he's a quarterback. Didn't play a whole of last year because of this case. And yeah,
so he already missed a whole year from it.
But not technically. But the Texans sat him down. They didn't want him to play. He wasn't suspended essentially. But yeah, it's a very dodgy case for the NFL, and they've appealed the ruling of 6-game suspension because it's like a intermediary committee, and the NFL, the prosecutors, and the NFLPA, so the Player Association, is like the defendants essentially. So the NFL has appealed, and they want a multi-year suspension for it. So yeah, we're gonna see how it pans out, but it's a very dodgy case, and yeah, it's very sad that a guy like this is having this sort of thing. But if he's guilty, he should be under the jail.
He should have paid attention in school.
Well, he's from...
Consent is important. All right?
Well, yeah, obviously, mate. We don't have to outline that.
Yeah, just if you didn't know.
If you didn't know, yeah. Okay, if you didn't know, then you probably should start to get to know.
All right. Well, we'll shift to a sport I'm a little more comfortable with, NRL. Different lettering. Very different sport.
NRL.
For some reason, you've written here, Panthers starting to look dodgy. Now, I could not disagree more. That is an outrageous
They got blown
thing to
out
say.
a week ago.
But was it really, though?
Like, their backs were blown out.
When you won the second half with less players on the field, that's pretty promising to me.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. Very promising.
Yeah, but you got 30 put on you in the first half.
Yeah. To a team that had less players on the field and your best player taken off the field. Any team would crumble under that sort of
but you're
pressure.
also losing 12-4 before that even happened.
Yeah, losing 12-4. That's not a big deal.
Yeah, but
they scored one more
they
try
still
than
probably
us
would have
at
won the
start of
game. Parramatta would still probably won the game.
They might have won the game, but they probably wouldn't have.
Well, they looked the better team. So, and you look again. You should have lost to the Roosters. That is for definite. So, you have been a bit since Origin. You have looked a bit up and down. That's all I'm saying.
Well, yeah.
and with the run in, I mean, even though you've got. What is it, Sullivan and whatever the other guy's called?
We got Salmon or Falls. We're blessed with options.
Yeah, blessed. I wouldn't call it blessed. It's kind of like pick any guy that can play the position. But yes, I do understand that your team is very good outside of the halves at the moment. So I imagine you'll probably go 3-6. You'll probably go 50%, which is
3
not
and 5.
Oh, okay, there's 5 games left, but you probably win 2 or 3 of those games, and that'll be enough for first.
Well,
anyway.
we've got the Warriors, that's a guaranteed win, and then we've got the Raiders this week.
But will Cleary and Luai come back like completely on their game? Will they need any time to adjust?
Luai might come back for the last game of the season, of the regular season, depending on how he recovers. So he might get a game under his belt, and then Cleary he's not injured, so he can train full time. He's gonna stay fit. He's just not playing on the weekend. So I think it should be fine. And even if they need a game to warm up, we'll have the luxury of being top 4. So if we lose week 1, it's not the end of the world. We lost week 1 last year and still won the comp. So I just think this is the first bit of adversity we faced this season, and everyone's jumping on and going, oh, hang on here. My team's looking like we've got a chance now. The Roosters are looking like they've got a chance.
Lozzie boy, Lozda. Yeah, you've seen
Loz Daly.
He's going on the Matty John show. He's like, look at the Roosters coming through. The Chookies are rising.
He goes on Matty John's every week. He's on there for 2 minutes at the end of the show. He literally has 3 lines. And he just goes, the odds of the premiership odds of Titan this week.
I love how he premises it with like it's his opinion. These are my odds that I've set. It's definitely not the company's odds that they've set. It's definitely
obviously the company's odds. No, but he has his have you seen, he has this thing called Loz's Lock, which is like a multi he does every week. I used to buy into them and I actually bet on a couple of them. Big mistake.
You lost every single one.
They never win, and the odds are shit. Like it's I don't know. Say it's Crichton to score in the first 60 minutes of a game. Manly to win and Rabbitohs to win or something like that.
Crichton will score in the 65th
and
minute.
like I'm looking for $12 odds for something like that.
Yeah.
And then
it's like $7.
He's like $5.50. You won't beat it anywhere.
And the whole crowd is like, yeah.
And I'm like, mate, I'm pretty sure if I just put that in a same game multi by myself, I'd get better odds than that.
But yeah, what do you even look at? Do you just search it up on Tab's website?
Yeah,
Loz's Lock.
Yeah, it's just on Tab on the app. You can find it there.
Yeah, well, we all love Loz. He's New South Wales, hero, but
obviously broke the streak. Legend.
Was a coach when the streak was continuing, but still.
But he broke the streak.
He still
coach,
broke it.
So.
But yeah, it's looking a bit with the odds. It's looking a bit closer. I mean, I'm surprised the Roosters are still.
Well, Penrith are like. I think they're the shortest odds maybe ever at one point. I think they were under $2 at one point.
No, they're $1.20 or $1.40 to make the final.
Yeah, but to win the comp, I think they were under $2 at one point.
Well, I think they're $2.30 now. They're still really low.
They've dropped a little bit, but yeah, I think the Roosters are into like 17 or something.
No, the Roosters are cheap. I think they're like the 13, I want to say. 13, 14.
Really?
Yeah, like
I think that
we're like the 4th or 5th best odds, and I'm like, we haven't even made the 8 yet, so I wouldn't be betting. And we got the toughest schedule.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I think you could make the 8, but I'm not certain of it. There's definitely a chance you don't make.
As long as we put Joey Manu at number 6, we'll make the 8. If we put those short ass kids together, we put Kiri and fucking Sam Walker in 6 and 7.
That's what they're gonna do. So,
Joey Manu. Obviously, the last game played center, but he roamed around the middle a lot.
They're just letting him play like Turbo in Origin. So,
but we did look a bit dodgy in that game. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, more than dodgy. You looked terrible.
We couldn't complete a set to save our lives, to be honest with you. But
it was all borderline embarrassing, only winning by 10 points to that Manly team.
Yeah, but it was a very physical game. That Jared. Oh, I wanted to get into the
elbow thing.
Okay, so the NRL
that was grubby.
So according to NRL 360 and including Paulie Kento, who we've met, kind of, and Buzzy Boy.
He's not that. I don't know if you've ever seen him on TV, what you think he's like in real life. He's not that open in real life. He doesn't like people going up to him and asking for photos. Now, I thought he would have been a guy that loved his fans, but
he does seem like a bit of a grouch off the field. I mean, he was with a very attractive wet lady, so
was she?
Well, she was very. Well, she wasn't very young. She was like.
She was younger than him.
Yeah, she was late 20s, so it's fine.
No, I think she was older than that, but
maybe early 30s. But still, what I'm saying is Paulie Kento sort of was saying that this was the worst week in the judiciary history in terms of all the bad decisions that they made.
So Jared gets suspended?
So Jared got a 1-week suspension, I think, and I think he's out for this game that's happening tonight against the Broncos. So yeah, he's out, which for... Really, it was a bit of a.
It was pretty bad.
But there was no force on it.
The force itself on the elbow wasn't bad, but he was digging it into his face on the ground, and like that.
It's welcome to the league, mate.
Yeah, but that it was really hard. Like,
but then that for no charge for Nelson, 0 charge. He literally.
I haven't even seen the Nelson one.
Okay, so what happened was. The player backed into him. I think it might have been a 2 or 3 person tackle. And then Nelson was directly behind him. So he's grabbing him from behind. The player's here. He's here. He's grabbed him. And then he's sort of flinged him or let him drop to the ground. And then he's led with his elbow like a fucking...
He's giving him a people's elbow on the way down.
It's like a John Jones classic fucking elbow. Leads down, bang, right on his...
the 12 to 6. Not the 12 to 6.
John Jones got eliminated. They got disqualified in a UFC match for that. And he done a 12 to 6 on him. And the guy against the Warriors, the guy had two cracked teeth, thought he broke his jaw. Nothing. Absolutely. And it was so blatant.
It was like the NRL they're doing what they're meant to. They're realizing Melbourne are depleted right now and they need all the troops they can get. So.
Yeah, Craig Bellamy's like, mate, we kind of don't have any players to replace him with. Do you mind
if you suspend Nelson, our top 4 chances are in doubt. Like, seriously.
And there I was like, okay, fine. We can't have Penrith win again. God, we got to have some competitiveness in the finals. But yeah, it was the most blatant elbow to the face. And the fact that there was so much force in it was just... Jared got suspended for a week when he was on the ground and he was just doing a bit of a nudge. This guy, full on, 12 to 6 to him and gets nothing. So that was egregious. The Carrigan one, I think that was a shocking tackle.
Yeah, the Carrigan one was bad.
He should be suspended for as long as Jackson Hastings is out for. My opinion.
No, that's a bit... You can't do that.
We've got to get rid of it. It's so clear that this tackle is so dangerous to the players. The Nelson one was bad, but the worst you're going to get from that is a fucking knockout. The worst you're going to get from Carrigan's tackle is what happened, a broken leg, which a player could be out for the rest of his career with. And the NRL 360 boys talked about how it's happening in junior football now, and there's been a case where a young kid got his whole leg broken as well from a hip drop tackle. So these hip drops need to be taken out completely from the game. And the fact that he got given, 5 weeks for it?
4 weeks, I think.
4 weeks. Yeah. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. He should have been out for at least 8 to 12.
But then again, the Broncos season would be over. So
who gives a fuck?
At the back
I
end
want
of
it
the
out
year,
the game. I don't want players being crippled by these stupid tackles.
At the back end of the year, it always happens. players get lower
And you hear this
suspensions.
this is how dumb he is as well. You can tell he's a Queenslander. He's like, I didn't intend to injure him. Oh, no shit, Sherlock. Oh, thanks for that. You didn't intend to injure him, but you intended to do a hip drop.
What about
So why does it matter?
Why is Cleary's? Because Cleary's
was
got 5
bad.
weeks. Do you think that should be worse than Carrigan's?
No way.
Exactly.
No way.
And Carrigan has got less weeks.
I mean, he could have potentially caused a neck injury, which is worse.
He could have, but when you look at it, he lands on his back, so there's really no danger.
But, Cleary's is worse.
No, it's not.
Oh, I don't think...
It would be worse if he actually landed on his head.
I think Cleary's tackle is technically worse. However, the hip drop is that dangerous of a tackle that we need to treat it so harshly that if you do it, you're gone, mate. You're out of there. So that's my opinion on it, but for me, you just can't have hip drops in this game. And it's coming from this Melbourne Storm bullshit technique of wrestling where there's no big hits, there's just a bunch of guys hugging each other, and then another guy just diving in at the legs and breaking someone's leg. I mean, that's not rugby league. We want to see big hits. We want to see some shoulder. How can you ban a shoulder charge and not a hip drop?
Well, it is banned that they get suspended for it. It's like a shoulder charge. You get suspended for it.
Yeah, but it's a lot more accepted than a...
I don't think so.
And it's only really punished heavily when the player gets a broken leg, which should not be the case. So, for me personally... And there was another one that happened. I think it was the Sharks game that happened to Will Kennedy, where he got a hip drop tackle. Clear cut. Guy got nothing.
And he's injured this week.
Yeah, Will Kennedy's...
I think he's out for 4 weeks, 5 weeks.
Will Kennedy's injured because it's a disgusting tackle that it needs to be taken out of the game. So my message at the end of that, bring back the shoulder charge, get rid of the hip drop.
Bring back the shoulder charge.
Bring back the punch-ups.
Bring back the biff.
Yeah, bring back the punch-ups. I mean, that was great in Origin out. Even though Matt Burton got fucking beat the fuck up, it was fucking unbelievable to watch some punches fly. Bloody lovely that was.
Yeah.
Gaza would be proud. Good old Gaza. I mean, he was the reason why I got rid.
He would, but I don't know. Yeah, he's the reason he got
canned.
But he got one on Nate Miles. That needed to happen.
Yeah, look at that
for the
big
state.
fucking head of his.
All of New South Wales was like, fuck the series. At least Nate Miles got clocked.
It's just beautiful as well. It was like 3-4 straight fucking punches to the head. Beautiful connection.
Yeah, and I read his biography, and he was talking about it, and he was like, it was just
Nate Miles' biography.
No, Gallen's. And it was like apparently years of shit Nate Miles has been doing, and Gallen just had in his mind, if he does one more thing this game, I'm just gonna hit him. And he saw him do it, and he was like, all right, I'm just gonna hit him. So he just walks up to him and starts hitting him.
Nate Miles was like, what did I do? I literally just like tapped you around the head.
Yeah, because in that instance, Nate Miles didn't really do anything to deserve it, but Gallen was just like, I've had enough of this shit. I'm just gonna hit him.
Yeah. Well, that's bring punch-ups back. Make it... that makes the game entertaining. Just punch-ups and shoulder charges. It's long.
Yeah, and apparently Queensland said in the dressing room before Game 3, let's get in a stink. Let's get in a punch-up.
Well, that was the only way they're going to win.
They came out...
They were just targeting Cleary and Tedesco.
Yeah,
like, hey, mate, hey, you want to punch me? Hey, you try and punch me.
Hey, Cleary, why are you hitting yourself?
Yeah, they're getting like fucking shit players off the bench. They're getting like... who was that? Like, who was that player that they brought in from the Cowboys? Game 3.
The bald guy. What's his name? Tom Gilbert.
Yeah, they get Tom Gilbert. Hey, Tommy boy, we haven't really brought you to play. We kind of just want you to get a punch up with, ideally Tedesco or Cleary.
If you can get both of them, that'll be great.
Just bring them around, throw a couple punches, make sure you can grab their hand and punch them in your face themselves. I mean, you can make it look a bit conspicuous, but yeah. Inconspicuous.
There you
go. Tough word. It's a tough word. But yeah, it was just a great sight to see the punch up, and I'd much rather have the punch up than the hip drop.
Yeah, definitely.
Concussions might happen, but I mean, who cares? Yeah. Dodge them. Dodge the punches then.
It's not my brain damage.
If you're not quick enough, get out the kitchen, if you get what I mean.
Get better head movement.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
Okay, moving on to things that also were in a former glory that are now sort of dead.
Your hairline?
My hairline.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about hairlines,
My hairline's not terrible.
really? It's pretty bad.
Yeah, but okay, mine's bad, but yours is permanently bad. Like your shape is terrible. Like it's
but
the biggest widow peak I've ever seen in my life.
You don't even see it.
Yeah, but it's such a widow's peak. It's ridiculous. It's like
But
a literal triangle.
But it's like the back of my widow's peak is where your hairline is.
Yeah, but it's
So
flat.
it's
We basically got the same hairline technically, but mine's flat and yours is just like an arrow.
but widow's peak's really common. Heaps of people have it. So
No, not to your extreme. They don't. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on. So yeah, if you didn't know, which I wouldn't blame you if you didn't know, the Commonwealth Games are actually going on at the moment.
Sorry to our American. Do you want to explain it to our American audience what a Commonwealth Games
Yeah.
is?
So for the millions of Americans watching this,
Millions. Who love this show, by the way.
yeah, the Commonwealth Games is basically a BTEC Olympics where Australia just gets to dominate all the loser countries that compete in it.
Yeah, I think Australia is a single country that keeps it going. They just
Well, England's in it, but they suck. So
yeah, I guess I don't know why that. Why do Australia dominate the Commonwealth Games, but the England does so much better in
no,
the
Australia's
Olympics?
better than the Olympics than England.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's because Australia, we do the stupidest sports. Like, we promote rowing and swimming.
Well, yeah. Well, swimming and athletics are the main things in Commonwealth Games and Olympics that people watch, and I enjoy watching the swimming.
And English players like, mate, we just want to play football. We're not fucking.
Yeah,
we're not
but
going around on a disc. We're not throwing a discus around, mate. Let's be real here.
yeah, but it's just fallen off so badly where it's people don't even know that it's on right now. Like I put it on the TV last night, and Mum was like, "Oh, the Commonwealth Games are on." I didn't even know. I'm like, yeah, fuck me neither.
But yeah, I think we're just briefly talking about it because as kids, we remember growing up, and that was like one of the big sort of events that happened. You know, you watched the Commonwealth Games, you watched the Olympics in class. It was, you know, an event that you could watch Australians compete. It was a fun sort of thing to watch, and it feels like over time. Now, maybe because we got a bit older, I'm sure there's kids that watch it that are big fans of it. But for us personally, I mean, I couldn't give two tosses about the Commonwealth Games. I don't think anybody does.
But there is the most relevant thing about the games is there's this love triangle in the swim team. Have you heard about it?
No.
So this guy Cody Simpson, he used to be a singer.
Oh yeah, didn't he date Miley Cyrus or something? That guy?
He might have, yeah. I don't know, but he's
I do know him. Yeah.
become a swimmer.
He was on Disney Channel, wasn't he?
I don't know.
Anyway, moving on.
But yeah, so he's dating Emma McKeon, who's like the best female swimmer. She won a lot of medals at the Olympics, and she's won the most gold medals ever in Commonwealth Games history. So they're dating. But Kyle Chalmers,
ooh,
you know him?
No.
Oh, well, he's
Does it look like I know swimmers, mate?
Well, he's the best Aussie male swimmer. He's won gold.
Is Cody good or
He's all right. He's not as good as Kyle.
He's middle of the road.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kyle's like won gold in the 100 at Rio, I think. And that's like the main event.
All right, we don't need to hear these achievements.
So, well, yeah, I'm just laying the platform. Oh, Jesus.
If you don't know, Oscar just got a call. Who was that from? Your mother?
No, it's my brother.
Okay. He must be... You tell him about the podcast, he's like, oh, I've got to get an appearance on the podcast. So shout out to... What was it, Mitch?
Yes.
Shout out to him.
Shout out Mitchell.
He's lazy, but shout out to him.
Yeah.
He was supposed to do a TikTok, but it took him taking about 4 months now, but...
Yeah, he doesn't want to do it. So, basically, yeah. So Emma McKeon used to be going out with Kyle Chalmers.
Yeah.
So there's this sort of triangle that the media's created, and they were just laying into Kyle Chalmers. I don't really know what happened, but he came out.
All the 7 fans in attendance were laying into him.
Well, no, not the fans, the media. And then he came out in an interview and was basically like, I don't enjoy this. Blah blah blah. I want to go home or something. And you know, everyone's gone into a frenzy now. You want to go home? What are you talking about? You got to swim, man. Yeah. And yeah, that's basically the biggest news story of the Commonwealth Games.
Well, I mean,
in a nutshell,
brother. I mean, really? Because you get. I mean, why does he care that much? I mean, does it take away from his performance? Maybe, but I mean,
well, it's mental health.
Oh, well, I mean, if you're that, I'm sorry, but if you're that mentally if you're not mentally strong going into a high pressure environment like an Olympic Games or a Commonwealth Games or any major sporting event, you shouldn't really be going. You should be looking after your mental health first. And we obviously support looking after your mental health, and I would definitely advise if you're going through mental health problems, you should not compete in a high stress environment. But I mean, now, is it all of a sudden that it's happened, or is it just...
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's not like I'm following the swim team all year round.
Mate, maybe I'm just a bit no, I'm not going to say that word.
Sensitized. God, you suck at saying words. Really
it's just
do.
The susses. Desensitized. Desensitized.
No.
All right. I'm maybe a bit more used to it then. The sort of crowd heckling, because obviously we watch basketball, we watch football. So,
well, yeah,
we see this sort of heckling.
I guess
and stuff
the coverage of swimmers, they only really get coverage.
Yeah, that's fair.
Once every 2 years.
Yeah,
so it hits them all at once.
They're like, what? People know who I am, and they just
you want my autograph? Really? Me?
So yeah, it's a bit weird for them, I guess. But yeah, I mean, who cares, mate? He's with your ex-bird. I mean, who cares?
Maybe he's still in love with her.
Well, just tell her that then. Just go on the open mic. Just be like, baby, come back to me, please. I need you. Leave this multi-millionaire pop singer who turned good-looking Olympic swimmer.
He's chosen swimming over singing, so...
Yeah, but he still
really
has millions of dollars probably from the singing. And he's probably richer than every other Olympic athlete put together. So
probably not Usain.
Does Usain compete anymore?
No, he's retired.
Yeah. So current Olympic athlete, he's probably richer than all of them combined. So yeah, I think
I don't know about that.
I think there's a bit of an incentive for her to date him. And it's a bit, I mean,
yeah,
I get
love is the incentive.
I don't think it's more the media. I mean, I'd be more upset that I'd just be walking past him every day and be like, oh, this motherfucker told my bird, you fucking motherfucker. I'd be just having breakfast and I'd look at them and I'd be like, oh, fuck. I wouldn't be like reading the news.
Yeah, that was the
oh
thing.
my God.
That was the thing, that there was, locker room drama and locker room beef and stuff.
Why would you pick both of them then?
Because that it's not picked. It's just if you're a faster swimmer, you're on the team.
Well,
it's not like a selection.
Get
process.
over it. Essentially, perform. Do your best. If you've got mental health problems, then don't race. But
everyone wants to see him race, so everyone would be like.
Well, by everyone, do you mean the 20 people that watch it, or who do you mean by everyone?
Well, I want to watch him race if I'm going to watch it.
Okay. Yeah, Oscar's actually going to become a swimmer. He's sort of opened up to me. He's going to become a swimmer now.
I bought some budgie smugglers, so...
Yeah, we were actually talking about our shopping trip. He was looking in Rebel Sport for a couple goggles, and I was saying, mate, get the high-end ones. Get the racing goggles.
No.
Get those $150.
If the goggles cost more than the swimmers, they're not worth it.
Okay. So... the next Commonwealth Games participant is going to be Oscar.
Maybe
Sims.
I could.
Cody Simpson did it.
He literally did it in 2 years.
Yeah, but he was also like, apparently, I did hear that he was like one of the best in Australia in high school level. So
yeah, he was. But then he quit, and in 2 years he got back.
Were you the best swimmer in high school level?
I was the best in St. Ives Primary School junior.
Wow.
Won the junior trophy. So
that is really good.
That means the best in year 3 and 4 combined.
So you're competing with a bunch of South Africans who don't swim.
No, they're probably Australians, but
we all know that St. Ives is just full of a bunch of South Africans.
No, there wasn't actually that many. There was a few, but not
a few. You mean half? But anyway,
no, it would be less than half.
40% maybe.
I'd say 20%.
There's still a lot of South Africans in fucking St. Ives.
Still.
So
what? South Africans can't swim?
They don't swim.
They do swim. They have people in the Olympics.
Do they?
Yeah, they do.
I've never seen a South African swimmer in the Olympics.
Well, you just stated you don't watch it. So.
I watch the Olympics, but I don't watch the Commonwealth Games.
Well, I've seen South African swimmers.
Well, few and far between, we'll say. Anyway, moving on.
All right, that's it. Last segment,
baby. Did you just have to repeat what I said?
Yeah, I don't know. In honor of Lightyear coming out on Disney Plus, we'll do a little throwback.
Yeah, this is Oscar's idea
for the kids at home. This is my idea.
If you don't enjoy this idea, just blame him.
Well, his idea was to talk about what we do with an elephant. So that was the competition.
Why did you make that sound so weird?
Because it was just so stupid.
I didn't say that at all. I was saying fun questions.
This was your question. If you got an elephant and you couldn't kill it or sell it, what would you do with it?
That was part of the list. I named like 30 things.
Well, that was the one that I remember. So
that was the dumbest one. I was picking multiple ones. Anyway, okay. Pixar movies, top 5 list, all time. Go. Okay. Well, obviously the viewers don't know this about me, but I have...
You starting with 1?
No, I'm starting with... Well, my list is Cars 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, see, that is stupid at first.
My list is Cars 1, 2, and 3. I don't even know what's in 2
What's 4 and 5?
I thought we were doing top 3.
No, top 5.
Top 5? Oh, God. Do they have a Cars 4 and 5 coming out?
No,
or
they don't. Okay, whatever. You do top 3 then.
No, I can do... Okay, so 5th, I'll do... Monsters Inc. University. That's actually not a bad movie. I actually quite like that. Monsters Inc. University. 4th, I was never a Wall-E fan. I'm not really... I guess I'll go Incredibles 4. The Incredibles 4. They had a really cool... Did you play the Incredibles video game growing up?
I did...
I remember...
I played something on DS about it.
I remember playing the Incredibles game growing up, and
I played it on DS.
Kid's name? Who was the kid's name?
Dash.
I remember going to school with Dash. I mean, shout out.
Going to school with Dash.
If you remember it, let us know. But yeah, that game was boss, and I love that game. But anyway, those two were my...
Underminer.
I mean, they're good movies. I haven't watched them since I was 7, but they're good movies.
Pathetic.
And then Cars... I guess I'll go 1, 2, 3. So my number 1 is Cars 1. Number 2 is Cars 2. Number 3 is Cars 3.
That is just a horrifically bad list.
Well, do you
even know what happened in Cars 3? Can you tell me the storyline?
Didn't they have like a super agent car?
A super agent?
Like, wasn't the car like an agent?
That was Cars 2.
Okay, that was Cars 2. Cars 3. Oh,
your third favorite Pixar movie of all time.
Him and Sally had kids?
What?
I don't know. Anyway, I'm picking it for memes.
You don't even know.
I'm picking it for memes though, because
okay, sure.
You probably don't know.
Have you even watched it?
I have one singular tattoo. Okay, and obviously my friend group knows about it, but I have a Ka-Chow tattoo, which is very dear to my heart. It's in my hip. I won't show the podcast. That's on Patreon if you want to pay me money to see it. But the Ka-Chow tattoo means a lot to me. It's deep rooted in my heart. It's my first tattoo. It's my only tattoo.
It's so important to him. He doesn't even know what happens in Cars 3.
Yeah. So. I'm going to be honest. I'm not even a Cars fan. I just got it for the memes.
Stupidest tattoo.
It was a very... it was a funny tattoo. So I thought, you know what? Ka-Chow it, baby. Ka-Chow it. So yeah, Cars 1, 2, and 3 are my... what is in Cars 3, by the way? What happened?
So it's basically the premise of the story is Lightning McQueen is getting old.
Can you not make it?
Well, you asked me.
Yeah, the premise of the movie.
Lightning McQueen's getting old, so he's not winning races anymore. There's this new car that's way quicker than him, and it's got all this new technical shit. So Lightning McQueen basically trains, gets really good.
How does a car train?
I don't know, but they train on a simulator and stuff. And by the end of it, he realizes he doesn't love racing anymore, and this sidekick that's been helping him train is actually really good at racing, so he gets her to race.
Wow, great movie.
Yeah, probably the worst of the 3 easily, and definitely not a top 5 Pixar movie, but...
well, you know what? For the memes, the Ka-Chow tattoo, Ka-Chow it, baby. Let's go. So, that I'm not a kids movie fan, because I'm an adult.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Is it weird?
Yeah, it is. I reckon.
Look, I appreciate them when I was a kid, but I don't sit back and, Disney Plus. Oh, what am I going to watch today on Disney Plus? Oh, I think I might actually have a cheeky gander at Cars 2. Or I might watch The Incredibles. Like, I'm not roasting it. I'm not going after it, but I'm just not interested in them as an adult. Unless it's for like a drinking game purpose.
You have to open your mind.
If it's for like a meme or ironically, or if it's for a drinking game purpose, I'm more than happy to watch it. I enjoy the movies when I'm drunk. But for my own enjoyment, for spending my own downtime, I'm not going to sit there and watch an Incredibles movie or watch Cars 3. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it.
I don't. It's not like I do that all the time either, but I still love the movies.
Okay, this is his moment here. This is what is being.
Moment.
This is his favorite segment of all time.
Yeah, one
so
moment.
please,
one opportunity.
please
capture
like and subscribe for
everything you
this
ever want.
pure moment, because this is all passion. This
Sneeze
is
a
hard
week,
work.
palms
This
are
is
sweaty.
integrity.
There's vomit on a sweater already.
Oh, forget it. All right.
Nervous,
So number 5, baby. Number 5.
Number 5, I've got Ratatouille. Now, I don't know, a little bit underrated pick potentially. Obviously,
Everyone knows what Ratatouille is.
I know, but in top 5. As a child, I really didn't like this movie, to be honest. I thought the rat was annoying and the ranger was ugly. So,
He
didn't really
reminds.
like it.
Does he remind you of someone?
He does.
that we know?
He really does.
He does. Which is a good thing. We love gingers, but yeah,
We do love them, but they are underprivileged. So, yeah. Ratatouille, number 5 for me. Number 4, I've got Monsters, Inc., the original. I don't know.
I like University. I think University
I don't know
is better.
how you could possibly have University above Monsters, Inc.
I think it's a cool format. I think
A cool format.
I like the end scene where they do a scare off or whatever. I like the origin story. I thought it was good. I liked there was like this cute like blubber character. I thought he was cool. And they were all like losers essentially, and then Sully turned them into like scare machines, and I thought it was a cool thing.
Monsters, Inc., just classic.
It's probably the reason why it sticks out so much. It's probably the most
Wazowski.
recent Pixar movie I've watched. Like, because I was
Monsters
10
University.
years old at the time, so it was like kind of recent for me. It's like the most recent movie.
Oh god, that is horrifically bad. Okay, number 3, I've got The Incredibles. Obviously, I would say most guys around our age would probably have The Incredibles in the top 5. It was just really cool when you're a kid seeing this family of superheroes,
Especially the
Anything
mother.
superhero
The mother
you like.
was definitely up there.
I mean, probably not when I was 8. I didn't really think of her as that.
But when you
yeah.
rewatch it, yeah.
I mean, she's pretty stretchy, so that's cool.
We were talking about something else.
And
but yeah.
Syndrome is a cool villain, I guess. So
He
yeah.
reminds me of someone that used to go to our school. I'll tell you after,
What?
but he does remind me of
What Syndrome?
yeah,
Is he a ranger?
yeah, that ginger kid, the fat guy that turned into, wasn't he the guy? Yeah, the guy with the white and black suit. He was ginger.
Oh, Syndrome.
Yeah.
I thought you were describing the kid from our school.
No, but he does remind me. I'll tell you after.
I'm
but
saying, is the kid from our school ginger?
funny enough, Pixar characters are based off real humans that we know. So I just thought I'd say that.
Well, who is it?
Well, I'm not going to out them here though,
Why?
because we're not name dropping. I'm not a name dropper.
But I don't understand. Okay.
I'll tell you after.
At number 2, I've got Cars. Obviously, the original Cars is a classic. Great movie.
Ka-chow, baby. Ka-chow.
Ka-chow for the boys. Obviously, the opening scene, in my opinion, is probably the best opening scene or the best scene in Pixar movies.
I was just about to cry because I thought you were going to say best in movie history, and I was going to be like, "Oh my god, this guy is deluded."
Well, maybe not in movie history, but in Pixar,
Maybe not. I think definitely not.
when he's talking like speed, I am speed, faster than fast, and then he gets out and they're just all racing, and it's fucking 16.
I like Cars. It's a good movie.
It is a great movie. And number 1, I got Finding Nemo.
Oh my god!
Now, as an Australian,
That
it is criminal that you don't have this on your list.
I'm not Australian though.
I don't care. You are.
No, I'm not.
You are.
Am I?
Yes, you are.
I don't think
So,
I am. I'm English.
You're Australian for some things. You love to be Australian for some things. So
like what? I'm Australian for Tim Tams. Let's be real, but I'm not really Australian for much else.
Well, yeah, Finding Nemo, in my opinion, is the best movie. The storyline's great.
Is it?
The characters are great. Obviously, the scenery in Sydney is great. And I just remember the last time I watched this movie, I just finished it and I was like, wow, that was surprisingly really good.
Why do they have American
way better
accents
than I
if they're
thought.
Australian fish?
Well, I don't know.
Seems like a
Why
mistake.
don't you ask the fish?
Yeah,
The fish aren't Australian. They travel to Sydney.
Well, it's iconic because everyone. What's that fish called?
Which one?
The Nemo fish. What is it
A
called?
clownfish.
Yeah, everyone calls that the Nemo fish now because.
Do they?
Well, yeah, no one calls it clownfish. They call it Nemo fish. So everyone, I think.
I've never heard that.
Well, I think everyone associates that fish with Nemo. Is that fair to say?
They do. They don't
So
call it Nemo fish.
the Nemo fish, but yeah. I mean, it's iconic, but I wouldn't put it above Cars.
Mate, the turtles, awesome. The shark, what's the shark's name? Bruce.
Yeah, Brucey
Is
boy.
Brucey.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a good movie, but I mean, again, haven't watched it since I was 8 years old. So
Mate, you got to educate yourself. You can't if you
is
sit
that
down,
education?
Yeah, if you sit down and watch these movies, you can't tell me they're not good.
Look, I mean, if I'm forced to watch them with somebody, I'll watch
Just
them.
watch it by yourself.
I mean, I've watched movies when I've not wanted to watch them, but if I'm by myself and I'm watching a movie, then I'll watch it. But
I've got to watch a hard crime gangster movie.
exactly,
alright?
I've got to watch Peaky Blinders.
Seriously,
I've got to watch,
if it's childish,
No, I love
it's not for
mate.
me.
I love comedies. I love all types. I'm just not a big animated fan when you're an adult, unless it's in a group scenario or you're with someone else.
Why does animation not good for adults?
Well, I'm not saying animation. I'm talking about like old school Disney movies, and Pixar movies. I just personally wouldn't watch them in my spare time alone. Now, I'd watch it with other people, like I said, but it's not something that I'd be like, oh my God, I want to watch a Disney or Pixar movie. So that's just my opinion.
Well,
just my opinion. I don't know. You don't like certain things. I mean, you watch one Premier League football game a year.
Yeah, but I'm not saying I hate Premier League. Or I'm not. I would watch Premier League if it was on. Say if Man United were playing at 7 p.m. tonight and it was on TV, I would watch it.
Okay. But, I mean, I guess. But
Yeah.
I personally wouldn't watch it. It's just my opinion. It's not. I mean, maybe like Disney is probably a bit different. I do like Disney over Pixar.
Well,
Are you a Pixar man or a Disney man?
well, it's the same thing, really. But
Well, they're different movies.
yeah, but Disney is Pixar.
Well, but they're different. You know what I mean? Like stereotypical Pixar, stereotypical Disney.
Modern movies definitely Pixar. I would prefer. But
What are modern movies? Coco? Is that a modern
well,
Pixar?
like I mean, anything. What good Disney movies are there after 2000?
Well, I don't know when they were made, but I'm talking about Mulan.
Like that's before.
Well, okay, but I'm talking about Disney classics.
Well, yeah, when you're talking
First
about
Pixar classics, I'm choosing Disney.
yeah, well, Pixar only started in like 1995, so
Well, yeah, but personally, I just think Disney is more watchable than Pixar.
I
That's
mean,
my
I
opinion.
like Disney movies as well. I'm not
But yeah, anyway, so that's your top
not
five.
hating. Yeah.
Well, was there any close considerations for you? Was there any ones? Oh, you're on the brink. Oh,
Bug's Life was kind of close.
oh no, that's a
Really?
shocking movie, mate. That's shocking.
That's not a shocking movie.
It's shocking.
That's a great movie. The bugs, you know, he flies away and there's that caterpillar thing.
All right, let me look. Let me look.
I love that movie.
What about Toy
Also-
Story? We
yeah,
haven't
I
put
know.
Toy
Also-
Story in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you are a Pixar fan, you're probably thinking, where is any of the Toy Story movies?
Yeah. Well, mine are memes.
I just don't
up
love.
to him.
I just don't love them.
Yeah, I somewhat agree with you. I think Toy Story 3 was really good. I actually kind of like Toy Story 3. I probably should have put it on my list, but I forgot about it.
What happens in Toy Story 3?
Wasn't it like the big bear? Like
The purple bear.
yeah, the purple bear, and they go in the incinerator.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like that one. That was a decent one. Obviously, Lightyear came out. Haven't watched it yet. Don't plan on watching it. Soul came out recently. Inside Out was a sort of a very popular movie. I did
was.
actually... No, to be fair, I've watched that past the age of 10. Because it came out in 2015,
Mm-hmm.
and I was 14 at the time. So I did watch that when I was 14. So to be fair to you, I have watched a movie since the age of 10. So yeah, those are the main ones, I guess. Bugs Life. Brave, I was considered... Brave I do like.
Nah, Brave is trash.
Nah, Brave is good, man.
It was not.
Again, if you've watched this podcast before, you understand that I'm a storyline character development kind of guy.
Well, that is not the movie for you then.
It's not?
No, it's just a chick running around with a fucking bear.
Yeah, but it's Scottish. It's like Braveheart, but animated. Obviously, it's nowhere near as good as Braveheart, but what I'm saying is it's about bow and arrows, it's about fighting, it's about hard Scottish people using bows and arrows in a competition to win this girl's heart who doesn't want it, who needs to turn a big grizzly bear into a human or whatever the fuck. Anyway, it's a good movie.
It's just a shit Brother Bear.
Oh, is Brother Bear Disney or Pixar?
It's not Pixar. I don't even know if it's Disney, but
Yeah, I forgot what it was. Oh my god, I love Brother Bear.
that is a goated movie.
Yeah, Brother Bear's goated. So yeah, I think that's it. Monsters University, obviously we mentioned. Yeah. Wally, were you a Wally fan?
Not really. I mean, I watch it, but it's not my favorite.
Yeah. So those are our picks. I mean, Finding Dory recently came out. I never watched it, so I can't.
I watched it. It wasn't that great.
Was Finding Dory a bit
of a letdown.
A bit pony.
Bit of a letdown.
Yeah.
Kind of like Cars 3.
Well,
that's on your top 5 list.
I did it for me. I don't watch. I probably should have put Braveheart. Oh, not Braveheart. Should have probably put I've completely forgot the name. Brave. I probably should have put Brave. Again, a rip-off of Braveheart, but probably should have put Brave in there for third for me. But I mean, I just don't care enough to do it. So
great.
I'm simply for the memes for my Ka-Chow tattoo. I'm putting Cars 1, 2, 3. So
okay,
that's my comment. So overall, good podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed that last segment. I doubt you did, but I mean, you probably should have gone with my ideas.
I reckon you would have, because you can put your own list in your head and then you can compare.
Compare Pixar movies with your best buddies. How about you do that? Just sit around with your drinks.
Honestly, every group does that. I promise you. We've done that. Friend groups. That's shit. Friend groups talk about.
Yeah, but
it's just not
that
you
when you're
because
plastered in the back of an Uber on your way home.
No, you can,
mate.
You do it.
I'll
sober.
tell you what. Fucking Brother Bear is so goated. I swear to God.
You do it sober as well.
I don't think we've done it sober, but anyway,
I distinctly remember.
So yeah, when you're with your groups this weekend,
chat about what you would do with an elephant. All right, what if someone dumped an elephant in your front yard? That wasn't the question. What would you want to do with it?
That literally wasn't the question I was.
I know what I would want to do with it. I would want to ride it.
That was a weird. I think another one was like, what would you do on a deserted island if you already had food and water? What were two things you would bring?
I would just drown myself.
Okay, fair enough. There's a couple rude ones that I thought about. I thought, we won't mention them. They're a bit...
Rude ones?
Yeah, they're really dodgy.
This isn't a PG show.
No, but it's like... I don't think you would answer them rude. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the podcast. Let us know if you enjoyed it. Like, comment, share, all that good stuff. And we'll be back next week for...
Subscribe, everybody.
For our Premier League review, which will be lovely jubbly.
Review.
The review of the week, and Man United will lose. And I might post, you know what, I might actually post a reaction. I might do a quick match reaction to us losing to Brighton, which would be lovely.
Go for it.
It should be fabulous. But yeah, like, share, subscribe. Hope you enjoyed it. Watch us on Spotify. We're on TikTok and Instagram as well. So, at Corner the King. See you later, baby.
Peace.